that whole black white thing is.
Yeah.
So that puts even the ones that are claiming to be white, it makes them have a blind side. Look, Democrat, Republican. They do the same thing on either side, and the people that are like following, they refuse to see the negative that
because they need to jump from one side.
They need to
be rolling. Oh, we definitely rolling.
So they refuse to see it, like, even though they know they're doing wrong. But these ones are wrong or worse. It's like when you bring, like I talk about Biden, like all everybody has to like Trump. As opposed, they're both liars.
It's the yin and
they're
the
both liars and they both suck.
Yeah.
So and that's both corporate. They mean no one, they don't mean even U.S. citizens, which are not Americans. They don't mean them well because those are employees, and these are just the people that are middle management, just there to make them do work.
What do you see though, because I feel like people in the world, wherever, America, Oakland, San Francisco, Missouri, I think there's an addiction to like anxiety, you know, like because us even deeping into this knowledge is like
something. How do you get addicted to something?
You do it a lot.
Somebody had to give you a taste first.
Word.
You know, you ever see, the movies or the whatever, they're like, this is like
you don't want to try this.
You don't want none of this.
Yeah, what's that? Dewey Cox?
Dewey Cox. I think I kind of want it. Yeah. Once you have it, it's like sugar for the child.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like sugar's terrible for us. You know, like, I mean, there's natural sugars, but the derivative that they draw out, no matter whatever form, that's crack. It's crack. It's literally like they say, like it's like the same kind of.
So I imagine you've been thinking like this, like so.
Well, think about my skateboarding. My skateboarding is.
But I want to take it back even because we can.
I can
ask you about Rodney Mullens and all that shit. But
as a result of how your mind works, how you were when you were a child, we just grow older and we do more things because we're exposed to more things.
So was moms and pops on forward thinking, or grandma? And
so that's the thing, is that like for a period of time I was with my great grandmother, and she was still active in her life. So I think that was actually really important, because one of the things I've noticed about some parents is that they spend once they have children, they stop associating with their friends and stuff like that.
But your great grandma was still out partying.
She was out partying,
still
doing
doing her
dance
thing.
classes, like had her friends come over and stuff like that.
So you feel like that's your connection. That's why you probably ain't gonna never stop skating. And
then I realized that like she'd take me in the car to like the store, the different things, and it was like we had to go through neighborhoods and all these different things. So it helped with a sense of adventure. I grew up in Compton, so Compton, like they had the framework to where they were locking down to where you didn't want to walk through this neighborhood.
I know, man.
You don't want to walk
the same
past
story.
Well, but now it's
from
like,
anybody.
I don't think about it like that. And I've been around the world.
True.
And just wandering. And usually, most people, this is what I do think, is that most people actually are, mostly good. We're tainted for the fact of like commercialism.
Got you.
So the addiction, it's like when we were young, when I was younger, there was less lights, less like cars, less people, less like noise.
Yeah, less promotion and advertising probably.
So the whole thing with youth, like you're hypersensitive because you're trying to like adapt to this environment, and now it's ultra confusing because it's everything, and it's like you can't just focus on things. Like for us when we were coming up, it was TV and stuff that this is how I think ADD kind of like how they
became a thing,
manufactured it. Because it's like, you were able to sit and focus on the things you like, and the people that were claimed to have ADD that I've run into, when they skateboarded,
it kind of neutralizes it.
It's because they're interested in it. Yeah. Everything else, it doesn't matter. If you're hyper stimulated,
and they don't want people to be super focused on one thing that they can't control. So, because then it's like you may go off and go do some shit that's more important than what we got in store right here. So you got ADHD. You need to eat this pill and calm down because you might crack the code on our ass. They were drugging the children in schools. So and like I go back to, like that's how we adapt to the environment and actually how we acclimate. So
if they were shutting them down, and think about this 2020 thing, they didn't put a mask in. Part of the thing with the children, that before you can speak and learn, you have to like face.
Yeah, so recognize facial recognition and stuff.
So we learn sign language. We learn all that before anything. So that they only can look at the eyes, and that's all they're using. So there's a generation of children being
that's just
raised.
Only recognizing people
and hypochondriacs off.
Everything is crazy. We gotta
fucking they came up with masks on their faces. They're like the environment.
Don't touch nothing.
Bubble boys.
That's a trip. That's bubble boys straight up.
And the generations before are
because we was eating worms and doing all kind of shit. It's spicy. Now they like shit. Don't touch nothing when you get on board. Dude. Don't look at nobody. I mean, it is crazy out here in the world, but like, hypochondriacs because it's like you're not learning to live.
It's a way of life.
Oh, mamas.
So and gut biome and stuff like that. Health. That was a big thing. That's a big thing. They don't talk about health, but they're worried about like you getting the vaccine though. You're sick.
You get more green juice down. You feel me? You
don't
get some
go out
green
in the
juice.
Sun. Don't run.
I know.
Don't do nothing. Don't sweat. Sweating's bad. Like that's one thing I have to bring up with the skating. It's like everybody always wants to bring up the sweating.
You like to sweat.
Hey, it's not about liking. It's just about how the body works.
For real.
But ultimately, it's just some people probably don't think I have a sense of humor because when I get online, it's like it's words. And most people are so hypersensitive that they don't even, and reading, most people don't read very well. It's like you read into shit. We read something or hear like the first negative thing, and that's all we're going off of.
We don't, and that's all the internet right now. Like that's what a majority of the internet is based on right now.
Yeah. So the whole thing with sweating, it's like that's like one of the things that I recognize as psychology is like most people are off put by like I'm good at skateboarding because I'm super focused on it. Most people aren't they would like to be, but they're not focused enough on it to get to the point. So they're not inspired. They admire, but then at the same time, it's kind of based on a sense of narcissism because and we're all touched by it because like Mike, not everybody was gonna be like Mike. It's like you're not gonna even if you were play good like him, like LeBron or whatever. The ones that Kobe, they were like.
Do you think now that you can kind of like see some of that? That is there something, anything, a different approach or something you would have took to certain things?
No, because
not like on some. Oh, what would you do different? Well, but like the older you get, you kind of get more foresight on things.
Well, I'm talking.
Yeah, for sure.
See, so this is a different thing, and the talking part with skateboarders is like they want you to, like, and that title is just so general anyways because it depends on who you're talking to.
Word.
Because I mean I've talked to like 5-year-olds that were more intelligent than the 25-year-olds that most of them because they're actually interested in something. They got passion. And then you can't program passion, and it's like it gets stomped out for a lot of people. And so that going back to the sweat thing is that people look at that as like it's a negative thing, but really the truth of the matter is like I'm so intensely into something that it's like I would normally sweat, but if I'm really focused on something, I sweat more.
You sweating balls,
And so but the problem that some people have is that most people are uncomfortable if they get sweaty. Yeah. So they're projecting on me saying like you should be like super uncomfortable, but you're out here doing shit, and people recognizing you, and you look like a sweat ball. So it's like I would be like I'd be tripping. That's it, and they're probably in their mind. A lot of people in their minds are saying that, and some people are just trying to discredit because they only speak on that. Yeah. But it's like that's just your low self-esteem speaking, that's what I'll say to people directly.
So you would. That's what I was just about to say. Would you not call? But like, if somebody was like, "Damn, you sweat," would that like?
It depends on how and who. Like face to face, everybody's different, and everybody has a different. Even if they say the same sequence of words, how they say it. Yeah. So context actually is very important. For sure. Online you don't get context so much, or in type you don't get context very much. So most people like I just kind of it's just a swat. It's like that's stupid. Like if you admire, but otherwise keep your you got nothing good to say, then fuck off. because ultimately they think that I'm the enemy. But it's like you're coming to talk about me.
You know about Talib Kweli, right?
Yeah,
and he's super active on his Instagram. Yeah. Like I've gotten to arguments with the dude, and I probably shouldn't.
That's the thing. He's engaging, and
he's engaging.
People don't really. That's the thing. Most people don't. So fanatics, fanatics, fans. Think about it. We're hot, and then you want to cool us off.
Yeah,
how's that? That's obtuse. So basically, he's engaging and he's doing his job, even whether he's right or wrong. He's actually,
that's obtuse, man.
Yeah, it's the ignorant. It's not.
In words, that's what we were talking about before with the words and how they cast it.
And obtuse has various meanings because it's like the angles.
Got you. So
I use obtuse concept.
But I'm just saying, like, do you think that it's because God is energy, everything is energy? Do you think that sometimes that is a waste of our energy, to interact with so much different.
So that's the whole point. So what is it? You said the journey. Why are we here? We're here to experience. So if God is all knowing and all seeing, if we're all extensions of God, then how are we wasting energy? Because it's all contained anyway.
Yeah.
So right or wrong, this or that, it's all perception.
Got you.
And then we're angels of light. Mm-hmm. So really, what's real? It's like we're just thinking.
Really, what's real?
Ultimately. So if we're allowed to do whatever we want here, if we're not harming each other, I mean, even if we're harming, that's gonna cause effect. It's gonna work itself out eventually.
I mean, you see, that's one thing about skateboarding that is an evolutionary human thing, because I remember I was kicking it at my house one day and I'm with some gangsta ass niggas that, what I'm saying, they from Richmond, Oakland, whatever, they done did some things, but they're so amazed at these skateboarders who are skating. I think Ronnie took a fat slam and they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, like y'all know about hurting other things, but do you know about hurting yourself? To learn about what's going on, not in I'm gonna hurt myself to where I can't get up no more. No, you're hurting yourself in the midst of, you're doing this to yourself. To then learn from that and then still love it even more and then become whoever you want to be through it.
Arrested development. So some people became soldiers before they lived. So they don't even, and they admire it because they recognize what it truly is. They're forced to do that business. It's like, I gotta get paid. It's like if I don't do this, but some of us made it out. We made it out like that, and so we can. And then I was going back to where coming from little. Then I experienced so much that I don't need things to actually really be happy. So most of the people that I see,
does that tie into why you made it kind of step back from shit?
Yes, exactly. Because I realized that everybody around me interacting with me, we weren't getting it was productive for the money. And then I saw how it was affecting the people watching. And then I was seeing most of these people weren't talking about the real things and then I was like, oh, I wasn't even really living. I was on trade shows, we're on a schedule. We're always working, and so when I come back, the people that normal people had jobs, it was school, this or that. So we never clicked anymore. It was just it was like trying to do stuff where you have to pay to get people to come to do things, and some people take advantage of that, or some people are just off put by that, so they're like, well, it's got to do this thing because you're trying to force it.
Yeah, so you just kind of started to see it for yourself, and where you were standing in your own too, to reach a height that somebody may be like, that's cool, but then you also are seeing the flip side of I'm having a disconnect, and it's goals. It's not about having all these things and stuff that people
skateboarding wasn't my dream. It was something I found that I really liked to do.
Was you on some boxing shit too? Cause
no boxing.
I heard your brother was a boxer.
No, you're talking about Sugar Shane. I'm not. Well, see, actually, I probably am because Mosley is my. So my older brother, two brothers, last name was Mosley. My mother was separated, and then she had me. Okay. out of wedlock, you know. Ultimately, I was given this name, but my name was Ryme, Rhyme. So,
got you.
So that's my family. But you know, by ties, they're
I got
so
you.
All the Mosleys and them, they're all pretty. I'm tied to them. But
I got you.
Then Brooks. Then
that's how you really find your. That's how you really get to your
in Oakland. Lineage in Oakland, I have family here. I just haven't started. I have been here for about a year, but I haven't.
Yeah, no.
I wanted to try to acclimate before I even really talk to anybody too much because you gotta I was in different places and you gotta find out if you actually feel it, you know. And so,
but you've been here for a little bit right now.
It's in December, around December 20th, I think I arrived.
Okay. So that's a trip, dog. That's a trip. Well, so when did the board just roll up? How did the board even come into play into everything?
Because
you was in Compton.
No. So San Jose is how the skateboarding came into play. I was, I was about 12. It was 88 is when I started skating, and I was junior high going into high school, and I had a friend Blong Bang. I had an interview at Transworld or something. I think it was one I wrote the whole thing, the questions and answers. I did some things back in the days that people probably never. It was the one chasing the ice cream truck.
You wrote your own interview?
Because I was like, well...
It's like playing chess against yourself.
Well, and this is the thing, is skateboarding, you're talking about growth and evolution.
Word.
I've done all kinds of things before I got into skateboarding. I used to drawing and writing and all these certain things. So, something that people don't realize that I'm doing online is most of it's creative writing. So there's a lot of it's rhyme scheme, and even though it always is supposed to make sense.
Got you.
And in context is very important. But when most of the writings, there's more than anything is usually 3 different subjects I'm writing on at the one time.
I was just about to say, so I'm kind of getting from now to here, from when we started talking before the cameras even cut on, it's kind of seeming like you're working on this thesis.
Well, it's just life.
It's just life, right? But it's
think of a spider web.
Got you.
Thing is, it's everything's attached, and then it's attached to various sources and all these things, so it all draws to the center.
Got you.
And so the spider, if you touch this part of the web and it shakes, then the spider knows
it goes over there.
Okay. And so information, it's I don't know, the way that I've been. Since I can remember, everything, things would come in, and then they didn't pertain, but then when something else comes in that pertains, then I start thinking about these certain things that makes me remember this thing.
Well, you've given so much inspiration to the thing we call skateboarding, which is like Grasso would say, it's just a fucking toy. You know what I mean? But it turned into...
Well, it's an instrument.
It's an instrument,
it's I look at it as a paintbrush or a pen.
Paintbrush, yeah, I've heard that too.
This is my canvas out here.
True. And you painted some beautiful pictures. You know what I mean? I guess Picasso, they said, made 4,000 photos, but only 200 of them was worth.
Though at a point, I was a subject. Going about my thesis. Other people were documenting, and other people were building the framework around me. And I realized that it was at a point when the whole promotions thing. Part of the reason why I did the interview is because they didn't know how to promote me. They were trying to.
So you didn't want to have somebody
squeeze me into hip hop or try to squeeze me into this or that. But it's
there's one video where I can't remember. I was watching it, but it was a slower song.
It was probably the Powell video.
The Powell video.
Suburban Diners is the Des Ray song.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
It starts with "Money Don't Make My World Go Round."
Yeah, that's a banger. That's a banger. The homies was like, man, he got some crazy. I'm because we listen to whatever the fuck we want to listen to. That's why. Yeah.
See, and that's the thing is that. People, this crosses with the sweat thing. People will criticize what they they feel is not allowed. So what are the rules in skateboarding? There's no snaking bit.
Yeah.
Copycats suck and such. It's like
what is really a kook? Because you can have a friend that's
nowadays the people calling other people kooks are the biggest kooks.
No.
That word itself is kooky.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like to be, it's just silly.
Yeah, because what would you say if someone was to be like, "Oh, Gershon is a kook"? Like, what would be?
Think about the messenger. You check the messenger.
Yeah.
Who's saying what? Usually the one that's like saying something and can't even really justify why they're saying. That's one of the things I do in the nightclub. But I go and ask people, why are you even like talking shit? And they can't even explain themselves.
Oh, when you was on the nightclub?
If you look in the thread, I go after people, and I just it's people.
Maybe that's why it was a little.
That's why people think I'm a kook is because I'm addressing I'm doing what Talib Kweli do.
Yeah, but it's live and direct on the ass stuff.
I don't one thing is it's more the negative than the positive because it's the positive is if somebody really wants to talk to me, then talk to me.
Word.
People just most people when they're doing the positive is the same compliments or the like this and that.
Yeah.
But when somebody says their feelings, really, if somebody writes a paragraph and says in their context and that, I like that. Because it's oh shit, they actually have took time and they thought it out, and it's not just their perception. They're also giving me something about them because a lot of times people are talking about me, and that's just that's their perception of me.
Word.
So I get.
So was it kind of tense up in there when you was doing the?
Oh no, not in the 9 club.
Oh, okay.
On the comments.
On the comments and shit.
Well, the 9 club was crazy because it was 3 people interviewing me at once.
Coming at
and that was one of somebody in the comments was he needs to stop and learn how to listen and let the but they weren't considering that. It's that was the first time that's ever happened to me. First and foremost, you have Kelly
and all these dudes are kind of they look up, you know what I mean? But then so they want to gotta and you're kind of
and if you sit and listen to it, and watch it. Wait, can you watch?
But if
you sit and you see, then you see. But there was somebody that commented on that. A couple of people commented on me cutting people off. Right. I was being cut off. And it was they're not even. It's they're just listening to me and thinking that I'm just. But it goes back again to the context of the narcissist. These people are criticizing me as if they should be in that position, which none of them have actually they don't even deserve to be speaking on the sense of it's what is your justification? What is your qualification?
So what do you? Is there anything that
And that's why I go after it.
For sure. Is there anything that you want though? Or do you feel like you're getting what you want from skateboarding or you know what I mean?
So you consider that. It's when you're saying that, are you talking about
because dog, check
it out, from skateboarding, me and the skateboard, we do fine.
Got you.
Skateboarding, me riding the skateboard, we're good. But we're talking about industry. If we're talking about industry, we're talking about that.
Yeah, because you are a part of that, and you're creative, your personality.
I'm only a part of that when we're doing business.
Got you.
If we're not doing business, then how am I a part of that?
Got you.
It's so when I see somebody that actually is inspired by me or that remembers me, that's not business. Unless they want to buy a board from me or something like that. But most people are just trying to tell me about how they feel about me. So it's
but that does translate. You were on the forefront of this shit, so you know more than me.
Most of that does not translate to board sales, especially in these years, because most people are just they don't even consider the transaction being like this. It's okay, so if I gave you something, I gave you entertainment, and then there was product with my name, but most people really didn't buy it, because a lot of people say it's I see people rocking around Jordans, not to say that I expect boards or this or that, but a lot of people say that they admire, but it's where's the proof?
True.
But they come and they tell me you did this and that, and and they want to stop me, so they're also taking my energy again like that. And I'll write about it. I'll say it's a waste, and going back to the ultimate thing, it isn't, because this is all contained anyway. So it's the energy flowing. But
I can relate to that, man.
In this individual life right here, It depends on the individual that I'm interacting
with. What you
most of the time, it's a waste of my time.
Gotcha.
Because most of the people, they only are caring about what their perception. Because if I go, oh well, that's cool, you know, and like, well, I got boards to sell, and they'll be like, oh, you just trying to like. You know,
it's like, where are you going with
like
this?
That. They'll get off. Oh, you just trying to.
I relate to that, man, because
and even back in the days, they expected us to just be pure. You just skate, like. But if you got out and busted out with a spiel, like you know, like these boards are like this much and this, and you start breaking it down, like trying to sell it to them, then be like, oh, you don't, you're just so catch-22 with those. You know, so the industry is geared.
That's why I respect Stedham, because Stedham had his whole buzz. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I'm saying
on the religious tip, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, like the vision of him being like, I'm stepping away from all of this, and I'm taking who I want on this bus, and we're gonna, you know, what it was wrapped up in.
No, the idea. The idea is proper. No, it's proper.
Because you was rolling with Stedham and shit on that?
No, I didn't. No, he tried.
He tried to get you.
He tried to throw a contract at me. I read that shit, and it was like,
he's like, hell no.
Well, I mean, it's like the music.
True.
You know, it's like when people know how the business works. So with the skateboarding, a lot of it was a handshake, and it was, you know, direct respect. But then at the same time, in that handshake, there's a gray area. So, you know, what's sold versus what's told. You know, and you live and learn. But that's the thing, though, is it's like college. It's like, I would not know business had I not experienced the business. Mm-hmm. Most of the people talking business went to school for it and don't know shit about it.
Don't know nothing about it. Still flopping.
And then it's like, I'll talk to them about it. I've been all through it and everybody knows me for it, but people don't be listening. And I just watch people fail and I'm like, and then, you know, but one of the things is like, people don't forgive you for being right.
Nah, hell no, they don't.
You know, I'm a know-it-all.
Yeah.
But I experienced and they know I did.
Yeah, because you was there, bro. You was with Rodney Mullens.
But this is one of the things.
You fired on the boss.
So good.
Like, you was there.
So, yeah. So going back to the whole thing is that the industry is like, it's, you know, it's racism. You know, keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
It ain't about the skin. But the skin, actually, who we talk about the skin is like they follow the copper color races.
Word.
Game. So, you know.
My homie somebody asked him, he's like, hey, dog, is you racist? He's like, I don't even got a car. How am I going to race?
Well, you can run.
You can run.
You know, and that's exactly what people be doing. And that's what I'm talking about with the narcissism.
Word.
You know, it's pitted against. The U.S. is a corporation, not a country. America is the land we stand on. You know, so people that are claiming to be Americans are the racists because they're nationalists. They're U.S. citizens.
Word.
It's a difference. And I mean, it's like even with
the double back to the to relating to because I just dropped a project, right? And like, there's always people asking me, when you putting out music, when you gonna do this, and like, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna put this on Spotify. I'm not gonna put this on Apple Music, nothing, because I'm only getting 6 cents a stream off that, for one, and for two. This is here if you really want to support, you know, like I've had like the numbers compared to how many people are following and liking and watching and saying, oh, this is cool, versus the numbers of people who are actually buying. It's a stark difference.
And that's why
it's a crazy difference. So so I can feel your anguish in that, and how you get caught up in it. You know what I mean?
It's not anguish, because I look at it as like a scientist in a sense.
Word.
It's studies, social studies.
It is.
Because like really the further along I go, the less I put emotion to it. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, why you lying to me?
Word.
It's like, you know you ain't trying to buy anything.
Yeah.
You know?
But these people who do support, they do want to buy shit. It's
usually the people that don't know you.
It's usually
the people that don't know you that will pay, they'll buy from you, without a doubt.
So then the only way you really get to those people is by paying for promotion and all that, right?
No, it's going out and doing the thing. Like, this was the thing that they shut down with the skateboarding, is that they used to send us to places. You showing up, you being there, speaking to the individual, that goes way further than you on the phone or on the internet, because it's like this is. So
right now, if somebody was like, "Yo, I want to get you and whoever, you know, like we're gonna send you there," like, would you be?
It depends on the situation.
Who, like you said.
I mean, and again, it's like throughout life. Again, that's how I've actually learned a lot. And then psychology is like the social studies I learned by being amongst the people. And it's like, I talk to an individual if I know if it's linked up with trustworthy people, then for sure.
Word.
Because that was the thing where it comes back to, if we can help, then we should, and we can by being there. It's like I can in a room of people. It's like it just depends on the conversation, because the right things said.
Yeah.
Things that talking about real things, because most people are talking about what they're talking about, like what I did. Or what
Back
they did.
Well, I do want to talk about some of the shit you did, because it sounds fucking rad. Like, fucking, so there's the Impact video with, I think it was you, Bob Burnquist, and I think like Rodney Mullens. And it was like a quick, not Impact, quick.
Oh, from Australia?
I think, yeah.
No, so that was actually, this ran, not opinion, was it Canvas? This ran concurrent with Canvas. So
what's Canvas?
So Canvas was like what is it, the Hill Brothers? It was what was their hardcore distribution?
Okay.
In Australia. So we were sitting over there, and this was how the Reynolds thing even matured.
Oh shit!
So
yeah,
it was
that's true, because I did hear it.
So it was like 9 people. It was him, me, Rodney, Mike York.
Bob Burnquist was out there, right?
I think Bob Burnquist. Yeah. Guy Mariano.
So were they all in this video?
Yeah. So there was a 900 Degrees tour. So they had pros from various camps, and it was like rare that they did this sort of thing. Damn. So, but yeah,
that
like
video
one of the filmers or some of the part of the film crew broke apart. And they made a video before the Canvas video was made. So that's why it was called Quick. So they took footage that they were filming of the tour and made that video with it. I don't think I even really saw the video, to be honest.
You want to know what's funny? The homie who told me about the video was like, I bet he hasn't even like looked at that video, you know, because it was like, it's not like YouTube back then, like where you could just go and like, woo. I think it is on there, and we looked at a bunch of different videos, but
that's what happened with that. Like that was
so that wasn't like a quick. That wasn't like, because I was thinking in my head, you, Bob Burnquist, and Rodney Mullens was just in a rental car together going out getting clips. They just snatched that footage. Oh shit!
Yeah, no, I don't think I saw it.
Seen that video?
I was aware of it because they were pretty pissed about it. Because they pretty much almost had it finished before we were done with the tour.
But so Reynolds was on that, and that thing and everything.
And that thing, like I did a 48blocks.com. It's still up there. Like I wrote.
You kind of, I think I read that.
That's what my part was. Like I heard some other nonsense about him calling me a nigga.
Yeah. I never even heard that part.
He never said no shit like that to my face.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, so if you said it to somebody else, whatever. But
maybe.
Yeah, but he never said no shit like that to your face.
But the point where I punched him out is like, this was after I had said something to this. It basically had to do with weed, and it was nonsense. It was nonsense. So I was told we were on the tour, and there was at least 5 people that smoked weed. But I was told by one of the dudes that they were like, we were given as the group were given half ounce of weed. We're in Australia, and it's like weed, you know.
Yeah, you can't get that shit like that.
so I'm like, yo,
because I read that in the article. It was like, this motherfucker's like stingy or something like that. I'm like, what? What would they be like? I was like, was it money? No. Weed. Niggas always arguing over weed.
No, it wasn't even arguing.
I
was told that we were given that, and he had it. So he like there's only a couple times that, like 2 times I recall, he was sharing these little pinner ass joints with like this like 4 or 5 people.
Nah.
And it was like, and then I saw the sack, and it was like they were saying that dudes was smoking tough. Damn. And I'm like, yo, like.
Roll up, cuz.
I was like, no, you need to quit smoking weed, because I was like, you greedy as fuck. Like, basically just like that.
Yeah.
And I just like, that's
just like caught him on some shit like that.
That's what I had to say. He said nothing. So it was like,
and that was it.
Nothing. That was it.
And that wasn't even.
So So that was it for there. He said nothing. It was just me and him when I said this. What? So when there's the trade show of Baker starting. It was in Long Beach. I'm walking out of the attached hotel to the convention center. I forget which one it is. We're going to the Yard House to have dinner. I'm going with some salespeople from Globe.
Word.
And we're walking, and I'm just like, whatever.
Chilling, yeah.
And this dude shows up, and I swear it looked like a pyramid because he had all the youngsters with him from the Baker.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's like, he confronts
I'm
me.
the real Baker. I'm still smoking weed,
He's
homie.
like, Gershon, remember when we were in Australia, you said I should stop smoking weed? What did you mean by that? And I was like, I look at him and I'm like, yo, and I went to pat him on the shoulder, and he throws his arms like what? And I was like, that's why. And then I walk away.
The boss approached.
So I walk, and so no.
What did you mean by that?
So it's like, yo, wrong time. It's like,
for sure.
If you wanted to come at me, you should have did something.
For sure.
And so I was like, it kind of blew him off because it was, business.
Yeah.
And then, it's like the City Stars premiere at the Encinitas, that theater down there.
Word.
The next trade show, this is the night before.
Hold on, City Stars is what video again?
It was Kareem. It was the Kareem video.
Because that was his own brand, right?
Yeah, City Stars.
Okay, because I wasn't kind of paying attention to skating then, but not really.
Yeah, so it was their premiere, and there was 2 showings at 8 o'clock and the 10 o'clock. I think we got there a little late, so we were at the 10 o'clock. Like I was told that Reynolds and those dudes were making a nuisance, and I was told that they were going to get regulated on but anyways, they left.
Whatever,
earlier.
Yeah, okay.
So they were at the bar across the street, which is the after party. And so when we were going to the bar, you walk by the patio, and then you go into the door. I'm walking by. I'm with some people from Reno, and they're like, "Yo,
I've seen some clips of you skating in Reno, but we'll get to that.
I used to spend a lot of time in Reno.
Oh, that's a trip.
And they're saying, "Yo, he's saying fuck your shot." And so I go up in there and I just go right to him. I go, "You got a problem?" And he said, "Yeah." And I punch him in his mouth, and then he falls down, falls down around the chair. And Maldonado, he's behind me. I'm not even considering because I'm like skateboarders bitches. Especially then, it's like skateboarders don't fight, and the ones that fight, it's like. I ollied on Sheffy. I thought Sheffy was gonna kill me, but I was like, there was nothing I could do. Yeah. I was like, and then I was gonna. Have
big
to fight I was like, I'm like, if I try to fight him, I'm probably gonna lose, but I'm gonna.
Wait, you said you ollied on him? Like you
ollied on him? It was in Vancouver, but anyways, that.
Like you just ollied over him.
But all that being said is like Sheffy's a threat. Like I was just like, Sheffy's a threat, but there was one confrontation. It was one time I was like, I don't know about this, but I was like, fuck it, there was no choice. But anyways, I didn't even consider like the whole who's around.
Yeah, because you like, bro, fuck
but then
all this shit.
When somebody grabs you behind you, like kind of walk back and they lose their balance and pop out. And I was gonna hit him, and he was like, no.
He just wasn't even. And then got this crew that ain't even down to fucking get down.
Strickland's the biggest dude. He's calling me out. He hops over the thing. Yeah. I go after him because I'm like, all right, I'm in the mode, like trying to do
fired up.
But he's just trying to stop it too.
This shit,
but
I bet.
So it's Encinitas, like cops coming, bail out, surf down,
getting all
trying to get out of there. But that was kind of how all that transpired. But then the next day, like Reynolds came to the trade show to try to apologize, but I'm like, alcohol, it's inhibitions. I know you're lying, and I was gonna hit him again, but then OJ. Oscar Jordan comes out of nowhere, grabs me, saves me.
He's like,
because I was kind of like back then. I was already kind of going. It was the reason why I left.
You was like already like I'm kind of over this shit.
Well, I was over it, but I was actually starting to kind of because I'd had so much like stuff going on with like on the back end that I was actually starting to target people. So it was gonna go bad.
Oh, because you're looking at like you felt secure enough to be like.
I didn't even fuck the secure. No, it was just like it was just gonna you fucking around. You're gonna get handled because it's like,
sure.
And it's like that's kind of been my mentality in life, and that's why skateboarding kept me out of a lot of trouble.
Word.
But it was also spearheading me into it because of all these fake ass motherfuckers. Like you see these people, they're still milking it, but they're not even getting any better. They're just kind of doing the thing.
Yeah.
Routines. That's why skateboarding. skateboarding is progressing, but then at the same time, I interact with a lot of people that have no ambition whatsoever with it. They're like, I have to go.
What do you think that is though? Because
how it's projected, but then there's a lot of people not really. There's not anybody really educating people on a business.
I feel like rock and roll probably has to have the best, because the OG rock and rolls, you'll get Bon Jovi, you know what I mean? But you look at hip hop artists and you're like, oh, this fool's this fool's OG, he's hella old now, you know what I mean? And it kind of happens in skateboarding, but then you become a legacy act, but it's like.
It's the people that are, who's controlling the, the Hegelian dialect. The Hegelian dialectic is like a football game.
Word.
Thesis versus antithesis equals synthesis. So in order, the people that create a scenario, they want to get what they want. They want to guarantee that they're getting all the funds and stuff like that. So they only allow certain people in if they can control it.
Gotcha.
If you can't be controlled, you're ousted. So the skateboarding industry was created by, it was definitely taken over by the freestylers. And so, there was the Revenge of the Nerds comes to mind.
Word.
So, and that's what Bill Gates is doing with the world now.
True.
But
true.
You mentioned anguish or whatever. I actually know what I could have became. That's what I was recognizing. It was like, okay, now I see why these dudes they don't give a fuck about the youth, in this sense, is because they got turned out and they got this twisted mentality. But it's like once you get it, then you know what you got to lose, and then you don't got no love.
Yeah.
Also one of the main things that I'll say,
because people flip on you like that.
A professional skateboarder technically is an assassin. And so in an arena, the way that
it's funny you say that, because I plan on having a couple somebody else on. I was going to ask him because he's been on a couple of different teams, but he's still good. He's not getting worse. I'm like, do you look at yourself as a contractor? You know what I mean?
What do you become? I mean, technically that's what you become, because you at a point. It's like it's like way better than I was, because I have so much more. I have more discipline, but I also have a lot of years of practice, and actually not just theories. I actually have formulas for things.
Word.
So I, basically when I do go out and skate, people I tripod up and stuff. I make these. I started making series. I used to.
And you send them on emails and shit, right?
I used to send them the emails. I just put them on Instagram.
On Instagram now, yeah. Somebody was telling me to ask you about the email chain.
Well, yeah, I stopped sending it to people. Well, there's a couple different reasons.
Gons does that shit too. My homie got Gons' number one day at a park, and he said for weeks and then years after, as long as he had the number, Gons was sending random videos of him skating or some random video, just sending it out. This was just doing his thing.
Well, the thing with this,
it's art. Shit.
Well, this with Instagram, it's just I put it up. It's a library.
Word.
Or Facebook or any of that. I look at it like this. Most of the people get on their Dear Diary. I kind of do a little bit of that, but the way I do it is it's actually functional, and it could be looked at as poetry or whatever. You can take it how you want it,
sure.
But it has philosophy and has information to actually gather from it. So I don't generally just kind of go up there with throw shit up for no reason.
For no reason, yeah. You got it's just
there's
a concept
methodical.
To it. Yeah,
so I don't plan out everything. That's one of the things about skateboarding. Adaptation is important.
Speaking of adaptation, I feel like Pstone would be a perfect time to perfect person to put, because he was adaptive to everything.
I got to spend time with him with Human Skateboards and Andy McDonald's.
Oh yeah,
I slept on their couch for a while, and then the Justice video. He actually went out to Boise when I was staying out there and filmed me, and then filmed some of the friends out there. I spent some time with Pstone. It was great.
Ah, man.
Dude, and that was it was before the Thrasher thing.
Yeah,
and it was after the Thrasher, he was gone. It's I tried to hook up with him, but it's he was always
he was
out.
moving around.
But he I mean, Yeah, he's loved.
Love, yeah, man.
He'd get out there, he'd film me, and then he'd get out there, and I'd film lines of him and stuff. I always had a fat heel flip, but yeah,
that's tight, dog. Yeah, I was like wondering if you knew him or how y'all would have met or whatever. Because who started human skateboards?
Started.
Or like what was?
Well, human skateboards was that by the time I got there. It was.
Was that before you got on Santa Cruz or after Santa Cruz?
That was way after.
Way after Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is your first.
And so human was right before 18. Human is how I got my salary. Like I was getting. I found out by 18 that I was getting paid more than all the. I can't say all, but most of the professional skateboarders at the time. Just for my skateboard salary.
Yeah,
not shoes, not clothing, no, just salary.
Just salary.
Most people didn't get. A lot of people didn't get salary. They only got royalty. So it's like in royalty, this is the game at royalty. Like what the corporations will do. It's like with A-Team, I would go into the warehouse. They'd have pallets of Marks, Chet's, Rodney's decks, and then they'd have like 30 of mine.
Damn.
So this is game. So and then all the it was mostly pro decks on that team, but then you have the team decks.
Word.
So if people came looking for my decks run out, they're gonna buy A-Team decks. So royalties. That's how and I found out what I heard about it before I got with World. Which used to be World Distribution back in the days, but before I got with that conglomerate, and I witnessed how it worked. As I saw, so I learned a lot of the how they get over.
So what was the first? Was it Santa Cruz? Was your first?
Santa Cruz. I turned pro in Santa Cruz.
Yes. So because
that's New Deal actually. When it flipped over from Schmidt stick, and then they turned into New Deal. Actually, if you watch Useless Wooden Toys, my name is the last name.
Yeah.
In the thanks, because Steve Douglas was pissed at me because basically it was like he wouldn't put me on the team. They put me on flow, and he said, like, when we put out the video, we'll decide who's on the team. I saw footage of, Tim Brosh was in San Jose, too. And I saw footage of John Montesi, who was a street skater from Florida. Obviously, you know who Montesi is.
For sure.
And I was going like, damn, he's like, I skate like him, but he's way better than I am. So I was just looking at it like from like, it was like, oh, how will I fit in this?
How do I fit in this crew?
And I was seeing they got hella dudes like all around the world. I was like, and then so that's what I was Slappy, Chris Sutherland. He helped me get this video to Gavin O'Brien. He was friends with Gavin O'Brien. I was trying to get on. Steve Douglas was flowing me independent trucks via through himself, and then I was getting New Deal decks and then Nude Eel wheels. The Nude Eel wheels were horrible. The cores expanded, like so. It was like one of the worst things ever. So like, but so he got my. So I wanted to get on speed wheels. And I didn't know that much about like the cross referencing of, because it's like your decks, wheels,
Gotcha.
But so he got my Gavin O'Brien was the team manager for Santa Cruz at this time. Santa Cruz Speed Wheels Independent. So I was going for speed wheels, trying to get on speed wheels. He offered all of it.
Damn.
And I was like, oh shit. It was like, well, I'm not on independent through Douglas.
Yeah.
But I want to ride for New Deal.
For sure.
I hate those wheels.
Yeah. So it just.
I was like, well, and I told Steve, and he's like, well, you're going to have to make a decision. And I was like, well, this one's easy then.
Easy.
Because this is already established, and these wheels are better. And I'm fully on independent trucks.
And you're like trying to elevate your skate game too.
I wasn't even really, I was just going like, well, if I got to do this, I got to make the right decision. And this doesn't seem like the right decision. This seems like it's kind of could fall apart, but this thing's established, and I'm guaranteed on this. So what would you have done? It's like anybody, I knew that I just met this dude.
Do you still skate indies?
No.
I
stopped skating independents long ago, but I was riding Ace up until recently.
So what you skate now?
Slappies. Mike Sinclair.
Mike Sinclair, yeah. That's what's up.
I just got to find the right bushings, but they're actually pretty.
Somebody came in here asking for dodo birds the other day. Did you ever use those bushings? Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what Jamie
has them over. I think we'll have to get some. I have to order some. Yeah, then that's a trip. So, all right, so did you ever skate with Andy
McDonald?
Roy.
Andy Roy? Well, that was during the Santa Cruz.
That was okay.
That's
who told me that you like chocolate milk.
Yeah, it was strawberry milk. Strawberry iced tea and strawberry milk.
Okay.
There was there was Troops of Tomorrow. There was we went on a tour around. It was like first time I ever skate tour, Santa Cruz. So I was on 6 weeks, and I was on the whole thing. And they were flying in and out. Andy Roy was on most of it.
Okay.
And this was when Andy Roy was before he got really, really terrible, but he was terrible. And I didn't know him, and it's like he was just like obnoxious, and it was it got to a point where I really wanted to fucking I wanted to do something to him.
He didn't say nothing back.
Back then. Because I mean, we've come in contact, and it's different energy.
Got you.
Like once he got out of prison, he actually so he was a demon. You know, this motherfucker, he saw it in my eyes. I wanted to do something to him one night, and he was like, "If you do something to me, Top Prince and then JJ Rogers, I'll get them to jump and get back."
Fuck.
And these, I'm like little guy, and thinking to myself, little guy, these are full grown men. I was like, nah, I don't want that smoke, but if I catch you, that's how I was feeling. Like I was really, really pissed because there was a bunch of it. It was like Jason Jesse came on, he was on some bullshit, and Screwdriver. That's why I learned about Screwdriver.
That is like a band or some shit.
And it was kind of some beyond shit, but both of those dudes, their energy is different.
For sure.
When I've come in contact with them
afterwards,
in recent years. But
you gotta respect that, right? Just human nature.
I looked at it, most of it as a hazing.
Yeah, that part too.
But
it's
some of it,
those
two dudes at that time, I was thinking that was there's some of that stupid shit.
For sure.
I know stories of the past with Jason Jesse and some other things with the Godoy brothers and such.
Word.
There's skateboarding and the bigotry, the racism. That's the U.S. citizen versus the American Indian. Civil Rights Act of 1968. So that actually really what it states in that thing. I bring that up,
dude, and it's like for you to.
Well, but I have to say this though is that
go for
need to know this is that it said that the people, Negro, Black, Colored, African American, this, that, and the other, actually are the American Indian, and we have the right to self-govern, meaning that U.S. citizenship is a privilege that we can take whenever we want, but at the same time, by becoming it's like becoming a card member to something, part of a club, you actually then give up your rights as an individual, and so you have to go into codes and statutes.
Yeah,
this is forced on most people.
Have an identification card, birth certificate.
This is enforced upon most people, or forced upon. And people don't know because of the long form, and when people are born in the hospital.
I was just about to say, a lot of people like to be born. The birth certificate
and tax ID
at home. You got to be born at home if you don't want to have that
documentation.
Yeah.
So
you can make your own birth certificate.
But that documentation,
get it notarized probably if you wanted to.
Yeah, but this documentation, yes, and this is how this is just kind of. Just for the documents.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this documentation, birth certificate and tax ID number, is owned by the IRS. So you can secure it to where you can only control it.
Do I say this is crazy? I don't know if you call shit like this crazy. My homeboy in a penitentiary was just getting on the phone. I was just talking. He's been down for a long time. He's like, I'm trying to get out because I'm finally realizing what you just explained to me. The same, but this was.
Well, that's the thing.
I've heard this now in less than 7 days. Yeah, for real.
That's because.
So do I call that crazy or you know what I mean? The fact that I'm hearing it.
Crazy means as far as we're using it, it means that it has no bearing in reality.
Word.
No, it isn't. It's actually more sane than what most people wandering around in the streets. Most people wander around believing they are black.
Yeah.
It's if you consider it, like you should, if you're gonna call yourself something, you should know what this means.
Yeah, because black tells you what I look like. It doesn't tell you
adjective.
It doesn't tell you who I am.
It's a description of this.
Yeah, the shirt.
So if you say I am black and you got black on, and somebody is looking at you and they're about business.
Yeah,
they're going, oh, this is somebody I can get at.
For sure.
It's like we don't make a contract with them because the contract would be void, or if we make the contract, it'll be void and they don't know it, so I can do whatever I want, and I won't necessarily be held liable unless they realize what happens later down the road. But they're going through life doing this, so more than likely they won't catch up. And this happens.
What was the act though that you said that the black was
the Civil Rights Act of 1968?
In that they said that the black people were indigenous.
No, it just says it addresses only the American Indian. So who was marching? What did Martin Luther King look like? You know, like I mean, he doesn't look like the term native only means born on the land, and the original people trying to use native were the actual Europeans that came here, the firstborns, the know nothing. They called themselves the Know Nothing Party. So basically, native only just, and it also has if you really look into it, it has connotation to being a servant, a slave, and slave as of Slavic descent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's.
But most people, when they say slave, they think
black people. Yeah.
No, they think brown. Well, so the true black people would be the pale skinned people, because black in a caste system means not a part of the system. So it means on and off. So technically, when we're talking about caste, caste.
Yeah, like system, in India, they got the caste.
This is actually India Superior. This at a time was called India. They called us Indians, right?
Right.
Hindustan wasn't called India until like the 1947, 1950, when they started changing all the names.
When they split it, everybody started splitting Pakistan and everything started splitting apart.
I mean, they're just redefining everything over there as it were over here.
All right, let's get back to the 18.
Egypt.
Let's get back to the 18, because boy, that I can go for hours on that. Wait, so what was the 18?
18 was me, Rodney Mullens, Chet Thomas, Dave Mayhew. He was the newest additive. Initially, what was his? Mark Johnson.
Mark Johnson was on the 18. Yeah.
What was his
so
name?
Was y'all all in
there was
San Ho?
No.
A lot, or that was?
No, I met Mark in San Jose. In Sunnyvale.
But the 18 was down in SoCal mostly.
Chet Thomas was Huntington Beach.
Okay.
Dave Mayhew was San Diego at the time. Rodney was in Redondo Beach, I think. So
did you pick up a lot of like just like in life just lessons, or just how to operate or communicate and like know where to direct your energy from hanging around Rodney Mullens? Because he's that's
mostly no.
Okay, for sure.
Mostly,
because when I see the dude, I'm like, man, his brain. It seemed like his brain just like, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, but it's like what he's focused on.
Okay.
So Rodney's very intelligent, but he's more book smart than he is. I've been studying personality types, and I found that I'm closely identified to INTJ, which is it's like a obscure, and it's part of the reason why I'm temperamental. Like if I'm in a mood and somebody is like, I'm not gonna put up with shit. I don't put up with shit, and it's like, and I will say or do things.
And was he like the team manager or like the
Rodney was a team writer and owner
of the whole shit, right?
The whole shit.
Yeah.
So like he played a weird role, which that was one of the things that I had issue with, because it was duplicitous. Mm-hmm. And that's when I use that word. It was kind of negative, because it's like he would talk like we're on the same level, but then at times when it's when it came to for sure. When I he'd act like team manager, but when I needed him to be team manager, he'd send me over to this other guy that would have to come back and talk to him.
So it was just
you're playing games. And so what I learned from him was more just like what happens to people when they get what they want. or what they think they want.
Well, yeah, what they think.
Like, so I realized, like, that's when I made.
Because that was his whole idea, right?
So
the whole A-team and everything.
Well, no, I think that was more Rocco's idea because Rocco was the thinker in that matter. Rodney's technical, and Rodney's more focused on. It's like Rodney. We're kind of similar in the sense is like I'm focused on what I'm focused on, and so Rodney's focused on what he's focused on. It's like your business is your business.
Gotcha.
Like if that shit don't coincide, then
did y'all go on some fat trips though?
I mean, see, that's the thing though. Is like
at that point you had already been on hella fat trips.
Like the way, like we had conversations, and that was what was more. I focused on Rodney, but when we went skating, it wasn't. We weren't skating together. Really.
Word. Well, I just mean in general, like did the A-team
Rodney
like
was really like this,
for sure,
and I was like this too.
For sure,
but you know, at the same time, I thought of myself different. You know, but like just as I got older, I realized I was like. You know, but that was the thing. Being around him, being around Cab, being around certain things, we had issues, and I was realizing it's like, oh, this is why, and that's part of the reason why I stepped away from skateboarding too, is because Peter Pan syndrome.
Yeah.
Hard to grow up, especially if you're getting the echo chamber. Like people are, oh, you're good, you're this and that. It's like so this, and you know, and then it's money's flowing in, and you know, and then you float off because. Normal people and yourself, there's no connection. So I realized that I wasn't really. I have social issues still,
right.
But I had a lot of social issues like that. I didn't. I was able to nurture, so I wasn't aware. I wasn't that aware of, so I kept myself sheltered. You keep yourself sheltered. You keep a distance from people. Yeah,
so it's a defense mechanism, right? Because here, growing up in America, as a black person, you're already under a microscope. Well, you know? We're more sensitive. We can be more sensitive to like shit that somebody else can write off, right?
But that's after you get that's after you get away from family. Mm-hmm. See, so you know, it's like there's good and negative, positive, but
for sure.
Well, I address narcissism because of the whole thing. It stems from low self-esteem.
Yeah.
But low self-esteem doesn't. It's a broad topic.
Word.
Why, what it is that you might have low self-esteem about, it could be something that only is triggered by like something so simple, but it never gets triggered until it does.
Yeah.
You know, but most people are just like their narcissism is just based on I can't do that. Which is everything, because I don't try nothing. Yeah. You know, most people are used to like talking themselves out of doing shit before they even start.
True.
So it's like with skateboarding, most people are like, I don't want to get hurt, so
I'm not even gonna do that. To it.
Yeah. So
what advice would you give to like a younger cat coming up in the skate world right now, if you had any advice for him?
Well, I mean, first of all, like social skills, it's like being good at skateboarding is cool, but like you have to have some social skills because if you can't communicate with people, then what good is that? Somebody might find you and be your management, but when you lose that, they'll take you up to levels that's where you can fall from.
Word.
Because you didn't get up there yourself.
Word.
So it's the relationships is what it's all about because it's. And it's not about like trying to find those right people to have the relationships with. It's just having good relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you're gonna have relationships are broad too, because it's like what kind of relationship. But you should be honorable as best you can in any of them, every one of them, because anyone that we take shit for granted. But ones that you actually do with negative intent will come back. Those small things, they'll come back because they become habits. Mm-hmm. You know, and they'll get bigger.
Damn, all right. How long we been going for now?
About a little over an hour and 10, I think.
Okay, cool. We can keep going a little longer. Are you guys somewhere to be? You chilling? All right. What's one of your favorite skate parks? Or like, do you prefer park or do you prefer street?
Oh, street.
Street, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
But skate park, let's see. There was... And I mean, I can only think... There's been so many places. And if you're talking about around... Are you talking about current or are you talking about in general?
I mean, it don't gotta be because that's like super subjective, right? To just take one park. Because I know you fuck with Alameda Park, right?
It's all right.
It's all right. That's all right.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of space in between the obstacles.
Word.
Like I can find something pretty much anywhere. It's better if it wasn't made for skateboarding. That's why I like street. But
sure.
the stuff that's made for skateboarding, it only gets frustrating is because you made this for skateboarding. It's like, you did this on purpose. What the fuck? Like you didn't map this out. Like, but at the same time, it's like my perspective.
I'm just thinking like demo years. Like, what is it? A park or a spot?
The thing is that like I was thinking about like this whole hall in Amsterdam, but it was only a park that was there in a hall that I found out that they only opened during the season when we were there.
Damn.
But it wasn't any too much different than most other places. But I had footage there in I think a 4-on-1 or something, but it was like they had this rail there that was like really good. It was like pretty much a normal height rail. And it was like a 7-stair, and it was just like perfect.
You ever skate with Bastion?
Not with.
Okay.
Yeah. Why do you ask?
I was just wondering because you've been overseas a bunch, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it was like contests.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I never actually like really skated with. I met him once. Yeah. But it was kind of a weird situation. We were at the Weed guy's house. Him and Mark Appleyard showed up, and But back then, it's like, I mean, I was friendly with everybody, but I had a stigma about certain people. It's like I had an issue with like how Ian, Deke, and those dudes talked about American skateboarders. And I kind of just looked at it as like they think more of themselves than they are, and so I was like,
that's the superiority shit.
Yeah, and so I was just looking at it, it's like, well, the reason why they're perceived as good is because they go in this direction heavily, and so. Like I wouldn't have, like I would have went skating with them and they would have broke the ice, but I was apprehensive in cases. But at the same time, I wasn't like talking shit.
Dude,
but if somebody asked my opinion about the skating,
I
would have, critiqued the things that but that's my perception.
Oh, speaking of critiquing skating, like who was your influences? Like who?
I mean, Ray Barbie, like Frankie Hill,
for sure,
Pat Duffy, Mike Frazier, Matt Hensley.
There's some heavy hitters.
I mean Rodney. Rodney Krieger.
Was that a trip though for you?
Guy Mariano, I still meeting them, like I'm inspired. Like I skate with Lou Whitaker. It's like
Lou Whitaker guy. He be getting off.
You can say like people can be like, oh well, but like levels and stuff. But it's like it's not just the levels. It's like when people are really inspired or they're passionate, it's like that's inspiring. When they're actually doing it, it's like I get to be I film and stuff now. I film people.
Got you.
So. Helping them.
Oh, you the hustle team filmer?
I mean, I do work.
Okay. So, how'd you even link with Jamie? Like, how'd y'all?
Well, like degrees of separation throughout the years. Like, Ha Crew. Like, I mean, we've been. Like I mentioned Ha Crew, but Bo Bevier, like Reno.
Yeah.
Reno. But we were missing each other all those years. But say. About 2 years now, we were passing through, me and this guy, Sean, and we stopped in Alameda, and we were at the out ledge.
Yeah.
And he was there with Lou and this Vernon guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually spazzed out at him on the internet, but I had realized he was one of those conversations in the past of the idiots talking shit. Because people information is they don't deal with the information, they just start talking shit. But I don't really look at who's talking. I usually I usually make fun of people, and it's for myself. I'm not trying, but it's public. This is in print, so people go back and read it. You can see who's the idiot, who isn't. People, if you see from a distance, you see two people arguing. They're two idiots. But if you step back and really like take into context, who's really talking about what's really what and who's like out there in left field? It's usually other people are trying to insult me because they know who I am.
It's a trip, man, because when you slow down to start to understand yourself and start to understand what you're actually saying to people. Well, then you see
everybody else so much clearer.
Yeah, but then they kind of, you start looking fuzzy to them because they're so...
Well, no, but you're never sharp to them. Like, ultimately, they only saw, it's the pictures of the video. That's what they see. When they're looking at me, that's what's playing in their head. Because nobody asked me about what I'm doing right now, generally. They're talking about, like, back in the day. So, as they're looking at me, it's what... So, most people, what I found about, you know, like, I recognize about myself, like, I didn't realize that certain people, like... It's the stupidest thing, maybe sounding, but it's like being around Lou. I didn't realize that fair skin, the eyes and all that stuff, how affected they are to the environment.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't because I was thinking, you know, we're all humans, hue meaning color, people, color man and such. It's like, they burn easier or whatever, but I didn't.
You didn't really understand that
it wasn't because it wasn't my focus.
Word.
I really, you know, it's like it's not me, you know, and we all do that because it's like, well, that's not something I ever had to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
I never had to think about really burning, you know, so it's like I
mean, but that's on all levels though, man. Like,
and so, but it like. You know, when they say waking up or, you know, all that shit is like you're constantly, it's about awareness. We're all woke, but it's about being aware of shit because it's like, what are you aware of? Most people aren't aware of themselves. It's like they're talking about, like most people are wearing what they're wearing based off what they think somebody else perceives them as.
It's cool,
and it's like, so it's an echo, but at the same time, it's like you look at them that you're thinking perceives you as this, you're looking just like them and they're doing the same thing. It's just like ripples in the water and it gets weaker as it goes out. And it just flatlines.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm fucking glad you in Oakland and like.
But that's the thing is like
moshing around here and hanging out with Jane. Like it's cool to see you here doing your thing because I started paying attention to skateboarding like after high school. You know, I wasn't like 12 out on a board all the time. You know, but there's always been certain characters that pop out to me, and I'm like, you were definitely one of those ones where I'm like, whenever you hear your name, whenever somebody brings your name up, they're like speaking highly, but then you actually look at the footage and it's like, damn, dude was fucking committed to actually, you know what I mean?
I like what I do,
making it look good and proper and like.
And that's the thing is, it's like. I, you know, spend time on that, and that's one of the things I recognize. A lot of people, they'll just do, oh, I did it.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, but it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
I have a vision. I had a vision, and it's like I'm gonna try to get as close to this vision as possible. So I land some things. I'll land like 5 or 10 times. You know, and it's like there's certain.
Are you applying that to anything else in your life?
Everything.
Everything else, right?
It's like business. It's like that's the reason I'm here. It's like ultimately every life is my business.
Word.
But I realize how it's like there's the question is, would you still do what you do if you weren't paid to do it? I do more of it.
For sure.
So, but I recognize that that's where I come back to the relationships because ultimately that's all that ever mattered.
Where
you know, it's like the skateboarding, the skills, and all that. And that's so. Going back to the whole the connection through the generations, that's how you can get to the point to where we can break the ice first.
Gotcha.
So then we can talk later. Maybe not now, but later. You and especially
you got some icebreakers out there.
Especially the ones that got touched, the ones that are mad at me or think they're mad at me.
Yeah.
But it's because I told you the truth. It's like you didn't like that, but it's like that's the thing that's gonna like stay with you. Because you're gonna go fuck with all those people you've been fucking with and they're gonna keep fucking you over. And then one day you're gonna realize, you're gonna be aware, it's like, oh shit, the reason why I didn't like him is because he actually like told me the truth. All the people I thought that loved me, they loathe me. Hey, check this out. You ever look at the definition for love? It's a feeling. It's described as a feeling. So when we talk about that word, we throw it around like we all know what it means. everybody has a different definition for it.
Word.
So one of the things that you have to, at the least, like I talk about, I talk to certain people and I go like, once you define it, it starts to die. But with a relationship, at the least you should, like if you're using certain words, you should at least say if you mean to continue the relationship.
Yeah.
When I say love, I mean acceptance.
Word.
You know, but most people don't even. Most people are talking from their own perception. You know,
Oh, this
a
little
relationship is reciprocation, give and take.
Yeah.
So it's like when I talk about love, I mean I accept. You know, it's like, but even with the acceptance, there is always change. I accept that there will be change.
Yeah.
It's like, and I would like to nurture.
And resentment is
nurture the positive change.
As much as we don't like it, resentment is attached to that. Because even if you don't have the resentment of whatever this change that may be going on, or somebody else may initially get some resentment towards you because you're so comfortable in yourself. You know what I mean? Because I wrote something about it once.
But it's not about me. It's about them inside of themselves. Like resentment. It's like when you think about it, it's you. The battle is within you.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you resent somebody outside of you if their whole life has existed outside of you, not based on you, and you just didn't have a good experience? Why are you so bothered by them?
Yeah, I mean,
it's your perception.
When I've thought this line up, and I'm still always trying to figure it out, but it's like when love is all you have, resentment is all you can trust.
Well, that's yin and yang.
Yeah, right.
So, but ultimately, it's like that's a game. You know, like and then it's also, these are just the thoughts first, and then we make them into emotions if we hold on to them. So it's like the ocean. If you lay in it, it'll wash over you. But it's just as it is. But ultimately, the real like is consistent. You know, like the people, the relationships, even certain people I don't see very often, but when I talk to them.
Dog, what's up with San Jose? I mean, we about to be done, but like, how long did you stay there?
I mean, I was there from my teen. I was from 6 to 18.
Okay, so those are formal years.
Yeah, and that's when I started skating.
Did you skate with Jerry, Sue?
Yeah.
Jerry, that's one of my top skaters. I mean, I can't name all his parts and all his tricks, but his style is impeccable, man. I fuck with his style. Yeah,
no, Jerry was tight. Like Jerry was like when Mark and Chris Avery, they met him before I did. He was brought around to NC board shop.
Okay.
And he could ollie really high, and he could do a lot of tricks. Already, he was like just like an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
I always thought his style was kind of crazy, but well, it was only because
I said it about Jehovah too. I'm telling somebody like I said Jehovah's style's
dope. Like,
some people will be like, I don't know about Jehovah's
check it out.
style.
It's physical form, and it's not his fault. It's how he ollies. It's his knees, and then in the end, and towards the end. He started like trying to not do that, and that's what made him look more rigid to me. Because it's natural that he does it like that. So he would do this, and that's his natural style.
Everybody got different styles.
Well, actually, the bald hands, that's not his natural style. That's actually tense. So, but his knees naturally do that.
Doing that, yeah.
It's like Tony Cox. Tony Cox, he'd pop the fuck out of shit. Like the heel flip, backside or indie grab off the flat like this high. Yeah. But his knees would like go in like this. It's like counterintuitive. Because you're thinking like a spring, but it's like,
but you're like knocking this shit together. Bounce. He started skating switch. Jerry started skating switch because he broke his ankles or something. But
he was already
kind of good at switch.
He was doing like because of Mark. So when he got around me and Mark, like the May grind and like a lot of his art the switch hard flips, nollie hard flips.
Yeah.
Jerry. I mean, I think Jerry already did that stuff, but he started doing it more. And then nollie backs, the half cab no slide to fakie or stuff like that. He started doing certain tricks because we were doing them.
What trick feels the best?
He ran him so much. Like that he overcooked the front too much. Like I was just like, damn, that was a little too much.
What trick feels the best to you? One of the tricks that feel the best to you? Like when you bust it out, you're like.
It depends on the day.
On the day, at a spot, or something like that.
I always like a good heel flip.
Okay.
Tray flips obviously.
For sure.
But I've been lately, no compliant variations have been like I've been feeling them. But I'm also finding myself doing like tricks I hadn't been doing, like switch big spins and stuff like that. Like
bro, speaking of switch, you switched backsmith to hubba?
Switch front.
Switch front?
Yeah.
What was going on that day?
I mean, that was, I think when I did that, we skated hubba a couple times and we'd go there. And like generally back then, I was skating the Sharks Arena ledges, which are they're like normally, I think they're like that high.
Oh, so you was already popping up there.
Yeah, so like I just run through tricks like until I got warmed up, and then I do the trick that I was actually trying.
Oh, when you went there, you was thinking you wanted to switch back
on video.
Or switch front split.
I was going, when I went there to do that, I think I switched lipped it first. I think I was on PAL at the time, and then the intention was to switch Smith.
Word.
I think I wanted to switch lip it too, but then I realized fucking Lenny Kirk already did it. But I was like, fuck it, because it was a safety trick to get, it was like because lip slides and stuff like that, you can manage it. So that's why I did it, so I could get on it and feel it switch. So I can, because then it's like the switch Smith is just up and on. It's easier. Yeah. So, but we'd been going up there at that point a couple times. It was probably my fourth time skating it, so I was comfortable with it.
What was the crew that day?
I think it was me, Mark and Jerry and Chris Avery. I think it was that. Like that's usually kind of around that time. It was that.
What team?
Just me and Mark. And
what video
Chris.
was that? Or was that?
That was there was Scenic Drive. Or no, the Scenic Drive. It was Scenic Drive. I think it was. It was the end. It was the end. Or was that? I think I was on PAL at that time, so I think it was Scenic Drive.
Okay, man. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, that's what I was asking about San Jose though. But like, San Jose's kind of like, I don't want to say weird, but I've tried to get familiar with it, but it's like hard to get familiar. I guess you got to like live in San Jose to get familiar with San Jose.
And I haven't been in San Jose in a long time, and every time I go back, the spots are great, but I don't skate with nobody. Like Cesar, he passed, but I skated the last time I would go there. I kind of skated with him.
What's the best thing about San Jose?
The spots.
The spots. Huh?
The curb cuts.
They got good
bump
food.
the hydrants and shit.
They got some good
ledges.
food and shit too though.
I'm sure, but I don't go there to eat.
For sure. Yeah, I don't go to San Jose.
I don't even have regular. Oh wait, no, there was a breakfast spot that's probably still there, Bill of Fare.
Okay.
That
gotta get it. Something's good in San Jose.
They had the omelets there. It's
fire.
off of not Bascom. I'd have to look at a map.
I was just like looked at my phone.
But that place, that's one place I would go if I'm thinking about food. I would try to go there. But I don't know if anything else would be. I don't know I haven't been there.
Have you ever thought about living overseas?
No word. I haven't like. No.
Have you been to Japan and shit?
Yeah, I've been
Japan. You been to Africa?
Yeah, no, not Africa. They would send us to Europe, all around Europe.
I know Europe is the spot to go, but it's like there's so much.
Prague was dope.
Prague.
But it's mostly around Europe, so it's like Belgium, Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, Czechoslovakia.
Traveling.
England.
What about South America?
Mexico,
that's not overseas,
Puerto Rico.
But
Mexico, Puerto Rico. I haven't really been too much.
Yeah, like no Ecuador, no shit like that.
Not further down.
Okay.
But Korea, Japan. I didn't go to China. I almost went to China, but
I would go to China now. I would go to Russia or China right now,
Australia,
just to go holler at people and see what's up.
But it's like none of because I still haven't been I haven't been around South America. But it's like after coming back from the skateboard thing and actually traveling on my own around here, it's like this. I'm fine and like staying on the Americas. If I never have to leave again, it'll be fine. Sure. Because because like I'm learning all this stuff, and at times I get angry because of the duplicity of the United States. Like we learned about Europe, but not here.
Not here, yeah.
But I know why now, and so knowing why makes it easier to accept it. It's because like the reason why they gave us narcissism because they have it. The racists came.
Like how I asked about anxiety because they had it.
Yeah, it's like, well, what can somebody that has anxiety do for you? They pass it on to you.
They pass it on to you.
So we're empathetic, so we take the energy on from the negative.
Sure.
We take the negative or the positive.
Yeah, I was a revolutionary said like once you realize you're doomed from the beginning, that's when you can start to begin.
And that's the thing about learning about personality types and or astrology and stuff like that. People will, you think you can predict people. No, it's about learning about yourself to realize that there's certain things that are not fixed, but it's kind of as a consistency, and
it's
then,
a standard by history, by representation. It's a standard.
And then once you know that about yourself, then you can fix certain things that aren't working for you. You can not fix it, but you can adjust.
Tweak certain things.
And that's the thing. But most people are thinking about it's the same as like why people don't really skateboard is because they're thinking about the negative before they even get to like even decide like there's different choices, different ways to go.
For sure,
it's negative if you choose to jump downstairs before you can ollie.
Straight up, it's big negative. It's negative to try to bomb a hill if you ain't never did it before.
Yeah,
big negative.
If you're not prepared, then but if you actually have experience, then you can actually kind of, I can gauge this.
Word. I was looking for like last words or whatever, but I think that was pretty. We leading into it, but that was pretty solid. If you got something else you want to say.
Like personality. So most of the people are judging somebody else's personality based off of how you perceive it. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you think about it, how much have you really thought about somebody you might call a kook? It's like, why are they kooky to you? Mm-hmm. Is because they're foreign. Which, alien only means foreign.
Gotcha.
So, it's like
talking about aliens.
When they're talking about aliens, they're talking about like we're just foreign cultures. Mm-hmm. It's like each individual is a foreign culture. You have different practices. Your practice is slightly different. Some of us can mesh up, but most of them don't. So like your practices are weird to me. If you like, I don't really like ketchup, but you put ketchup on everything.
I hate mustard for sure.
That sort of thing. And so
I can't fuck with mustard.
And people gauge like whatever quirky things to themselves as like, well, that's bothersome, but it's like really all they're doing is justifying why they don't try to engage, and which would change them because it's the things that are so different. If you can comprehend, it can help you actually recognize a bit more about yourself. Because why is it so off-putting?
Because it's changed, because it can be changed, and really change is the only constant.
So what is fear? And what is fear?
A disease?
Well, no, but it's a thought that it's justification for not trying something in most cases. It's like there's apprehension is different, but fear is like you're telling yourself a narrative. This is going to happen if I do this, or if I, people should be a little bit more adventurous with their thinking.
For sure.
At the least. Give it a little chance to go somewhere before you shut it down. Yeah. There. That'll be a good one.
And that's that. Mondays and Tuesdays at the shop, baby. What you got?
And I just want to get your perspective on one thing, because you were talking about this, and it's fucking for all of us. I think social media and people talking shit and the commenting, and you going in and talking with them. In my mind, you're giving these anonymous people power. Like, if you acknowledge them, now they think that their shit matters. What do you think about that? Like,
well, I mean,
like if Billy in Nebraska's like, Gershon sucks, and you're like, Billy, why do I suck? Like Billy's like, dude, I'm gonna fucking.
So check it out. That's the thing though, is that it gives them addiction, but it puts them out more. So it makes them actually have to become more themselves. It actually makes them more responsible in a sense. So it depends on how you look at it, but it's what I was saying about the messenger. It's like, okay, so this dude, now he feels empowered to go out and make a fool out of himself if that's what he's doing. So yeah, I gave him power, but he's
just making more of a fool of himself.
Well, but it's like,
and he may have the power to change. He may.
Yeah, no, we all have the. See, it's like I didn't really give him power. I just gave him a platform.
Gotcha.
More so, and really, it's what he does with it. I'm really just here to help. One way or the other.
Yeah.
It depends on what your intent is.
You're looking at it as a positive or a negative.
It's like my intent is like, well, shit, like if this argument might get us somewhere, because at least now you got to say what you needed to say, but does it mean anything? Is what I'm trying to get down to. Is like, where does it fit? You're trying to tell me about myself, but I already know me, and how's this supposed to help? How does it help you to even be out here yelling about it? And let's see what happens with you. You go out and run your race. See how far you get.
I had this joke. I was thinking, since Cater left Baker, you could then. You know Cater?
Oh, I know.
You can bury the hatchet with the boss and be like, hey.
Oh. No, check this out.
I'm back.
No, check this out. I actually, when I got on Instagram, I found his thing, and I actually told him that we should actually talk.
Oh, that's what's up.
Well, but I don't know if it was his thing.
Or whatever.
No, but the intention was to inevitably, even like with all the past, that actually the negative. I apologize to certain people about certain things.
That's what's up.
But most of it is that there needed to be a conversation anyway.
100%.
Because of why it happened.
Well, the whole fact of the beef. What the beef was even. Yeah,
a lot of things are assumption
sure.
because nobody was talking to each other back then. It's like other people like squawking in the ear. Because when
Gershon on Baker 2024, baby, let's go.
No, but I don't see the thing about that.
I'm being a kook now.
Well, no, but that's the thing. Is skateboarding. It's like it's like. But ultimately, it's like this: is that the business is not. I mean, I could see value in doing work with them, but
whatever. No,
but it's not the frequency.
But you're saying like it's not the frequency. Yeah, I know. That's why it's a joke. But I was saying, but that would be it's like to chop it up and just be like.
I'm all for the conversation.
For sure.
I mean, it's like for instance, and I think that was more of a business tactic, but Jay-Z and Nas.
Word.
Even though Nas cooked him. Cooked him.
Ether.
But Nas ended up under him getting shafted.
Mm-hmm. On the fucking Def Jam and shit.
It's like, yeah, boss.
So it's like all that shit you did at the Summer Jam, now I'm about to Summer Jam you.
Dude, he just took it for the money, and that's whack. But
we done? It's still rolling?
Yeah.
It's still rolling, baby. Break free, you know what I'm saying? We got Gershon in the house. Oh!